Do you remember Sony's mobile division? And yes, I know the video is titled OnePlus's naming scheme, but there was a point in time where Sony was given so much shit for the incomprehensible naming scheme of their devices. Every time they would come out with a new thing, they'd just give it a seemingly random combination of numbers and letters as a name. The point I'm trying to make is that it's important to name your devices in a sensible way, both for building a brand image and for the customers to easily understand the relation of different devices. And with that, we arrive at OnePlus. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the company, but just in case you are not, let me give you a very quick history lesson. The company started at the end of 2013 and they released their first smartphone, the OnePlus One, in mid-2014. It was meant to be a flagship killer, and OnePlus built the entire company around that idea at the time. One line of premium, high-end devices. Simple enough. The OnePlus 2 followed in mid-2015, then in late 2015 released the OnePlus X, which was, and still is, an outlier compared to any OnePlus device, pretty much a one-off thing. They then got back on track with the simple numbering. They have, however, introduced a T variant which released at the end of the year and was meant to be an update of the same number T-less version. After the OnePlus 6, they started releasing Pro versions as well. And ever since last year, OnePlus has been working on conquering other parts of the market too, releasing phones in the mid and entry levels. And what's the first thing when you release a new product? Of course, you gotta name it. I'd like to invite you for a bit of a game. I'm gonna give you names of the phones from roughly one generation, and your job is to put them in descending order based on power. If you actually want to try this, pause the video. Okay, you done? Alright, here's the actual order. If you manage to figure it all out, then either you know OnePlus well enough or I am the stupid one and this video is actually pointless, in which case you should probably stop watching, I guess. If not, let's continue into a bit of detail. As the simple numbered line is the oldest and most prominent one, let's take that as the basis of comparison. The R line, being the lower tier flagship, makes perfect sense. It's an arbitrary letter, but since we're talking about a new class of devices, that's perfectly fine. I have no problems with that. Then comes the Nord. New idea, new product name. Again, perfectly sensible. Nord CE. Okay, you already had a letter for the lesser phone in the same level. R would have been a pretty logical choice in my opinion, just for consistency's sake, but hey, no biggie. And then comes the entry-level phones, and that's where I think it really falls apart. First of all, they decided that the Nord name should encompass both mid and entry levels, which, considering that they were originally working under the Clover codename, seems pretty dumb to me. But okay, still salvageable. Nope, never mind, they named the stronger phone Nord N10 and the weaker one N100, which kicks a few of the overarching ideas right in the nuts, especially the simple counting up together with the generation, and the trend that different letters are used to differentiate between similar devices. Counting kinda works out, seeing as how the next gen is called N20 and N200 respectively, but the larger numbers so far always meant a newer generation, and I see no reason not to start from one, but what do I know? It's also that all the others have the version number appended, but this one has it incorporated into the whole shebang already. And then they started putting 5G at the end of every name, despite the lack of a non-5G variant because buzzwords, and then even the release structure started to complicate. The R version started getting T versions as well, and then the standard Nord started getting a T version as well, and then the 10th generation just doesn't have a standard version? I mean, it has two separate R versions with different batteries, and has a Pro, and the 10T was just released, but the normal one is missing? I don't know. And then there was the OnePlus Ace. Hang on. Oh, okay. And then, someone at headquarters had an aneurysm and approved the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite 5G.